Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 33 of your student journal. So we are on page 33 of your student journal. And today our objective is, today I will understand place value relationships and compare values using multiplication and division. Okay, that's kind of a longer one. So today I will understand place value relationships and compare values using multiplication and division. Okay, let's look at our vocabulary. Again, they give us our place value chart and they explain to us the decimal point separates the parts of a whole, which are decimals, from our whole numbers. They also explain what the decimal point is, and then they talk about bundling and unbundling. We're not going to focus on that just yet. Okay, on our step side, we're not going to really look at their steps the way that they're looking at it. So I'm actually going to kind of cross those out, but we are going to take a couple notes down here. So we're going to write a pretty large number. We're going to write this number 555 and, which is my decimal point, 555 thousandths. So 555 and 555 thousandths. Now, even though that number is made up of all 5 as the digits, we know that those digits aren't worth the same. They don't all have the same value. They all have actually a different value. If I told you you could choose any one of those 5s and you get that much money, I'm guessing most of you are not going to choose that 5. Money doesn't even actually get that small, because if you've ever seen money, and I'm going to write this in red for you, I'm going to write so red means you don't copy it. If you've ever seen money, money only goes 2 digits past the decimal, right? So this would be 55 cents. So I don't think anyone's going to choose from this side. I probably think this would be the best choice because this 5 is in the hundreds place value. So the value of that 5 is 500. The value of this 5, because it's in the tens place, is 5 tens, which is 50. This 5, which is in the ones, would be 5 ones, which is 5. So notice how this side has a greater value. On this side, there's a greater value to the 5s. The farther we go to the left, they're worth more, and the farther we go to the right, they're worth less. Okay, that's going to help us kind of understand today a little bit more, that these ones have more value than these, even though they're all digits of 5. Okay, something else that we're going to write that will help us is we're going to write something about our place values. So our place value is based on something called a number 10 system. Everything's based in tens. That's why we have tens, then we go to hundreds, and then thousands. Everything has to do with like multiplying by 10 or dividing by 10. Okay, so when I cut things up, I'm making it smaller into tens. But so I want you just to kind of put this little cheat sheet that will help you. So one place value equals 10 times. 2 place values equals 100 times. Now, even though I'm not going to write it, I bet some of you could guess what 3 place values are. If 1 was 10, 2 goes to 100, 3 place values would be 1,000. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, this 5 is worth 5 ones. This 5 is worth 5 tens, which is 50. So it's 1 place value away. It's worth 10 times more. So it's one place value away, but it's not worth only one more. It's worth 10 times that, because this is worth 5 and this is worth 50. And if this is seeming confusing, it's okay. As we practice this, it'll make a little bit more sense. But so if I'm one place value away, it's worth 10 times more. But 2 place values away is worth 100 times more, because this 5 is worth only 5, but this 5 is worth 500 because it's 2 place values away. So it's 100 times more. So that's just going to be our cheat sheet as we're doing this. And hopefully as we're doing it, it's going to make a little bit more sense. Okay, I'm going to grab my red pen. So you can put down your pencil and watch me for a moment. Here's my first problem. My first problem is having me fill in this chart. It says, starting with 26, divide or multiply by 10 or 100 until the chart is filled. So what they want you to kind of understand from this chart is they want you to kind of see this place value, how things move. So if I have 26, 26 is worth 2 10s and 6 1s. That's why they wrote it there. Now, if I divide it by 10, if you divide something, should it get smaller or bigger? It should get smaller, right? And we talked about this is greater on this side and this is less on this side. So 26 divided by 10, actually I move it this way. So because I'm going to move the digits to get smaller. Okay, but if I had multiplied it by 10, 26 times 10, and some of you might be able to know that, if you had 26 tens, you'd have 260. So what I would have done is I would have moved it the other direction. And I just move it one place value, which means I would need to put a 0 there. So when you multiply and divide, you're moving everything one place value. So when I divided it, I moved it once to the less side. When I multiplied it, I moved it once to the greater side. So I just moved it one place value because this 10 means one place value. Okay, and obviously dividing made it go smaller, multiplying made it go larger. Okay, if I'm going to divide it by 100, I'm going to move it towards the smaller side, but 100 means 2 place values. So look at my original 26. I need to move it over. This is where the 26 would go. Originally, I'm going to move it 2 spots over, so it's going to go over there. Because I moved the original 2 spots over, 2 place values over. And the same with if I multiply it, it's going to go to the greater side. But if it's times 100, 100's 2 place values. So this 2 that was here, I'm going to move it 2 place values over. And then I have to fill in some empty spots. So that's just, they want you to, from that problem, just kind of understand the moving it. So 10 means 1 place value, 100 means 2 place values, and then the multiplication and division is just think about, would your number get larger or would your number get smaller? Okay, let's look at my next one. How is the 3 in the 10th place different than the 3 in the 100th place? Okay, I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little bit larger so I can work with it a little bit better. Okay, so here's my 10th place and here's my 100th place. They want to know how is this one, how is the 3 in the 10th place different than the 3 in the 100th place? Okay, well this is my greater side and that's my less than side. So I know that it's greater because as I move this side, they get greater. So I know it's larger or greater. And how many place values away is it? It's only 1 place value. So they're only 1 place value different, which 1 place value is 10 times. So I would say the 3 in the 10th place is 10 times greater. They didn't really leave me enough room to really write. But I also write really large. So the 3 in the 10th place is 3 times greater because it's on the greater side and it was 1 place value away. Okay, let's look at my last one. Choose the number that has the digit 5 with a value that is 10 times less than the value of the 5 in the number 35 and 421 thousandths. Okay, So I'm going to, again, write my digit or my number so I can work with it a little better. And I know digits are greater on this side and less on that side. That's the value. So they want this 5. They want it 10 times less. So they want a 5 moving to the left side, and 10 times means only one place value. So they want the 5 to move only one place value to the left side. So I want to find one where the place value is right here. I moved it 1 to the left. So that would be one, right in the tenths place. That's where they want it. So which of these has a 5 in the tenths place? That has a 9, that has an 8, 7. D is my answer. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's try some of these together. We're on page 34, so pick up your pencil because I'm grabbing my green pen. And let's try some together. Here's our first one. It says, starting with 1 and 7/10, divide or multiply by 10 or 100 until the chart is filled. Okay, so 1/7, they want me to multiply it by 10. So 10 is one place value. And if I multiply it, it's going to get larger. So we need to move this one place value towards the greater side. So let's move the 1 over there and the 7 over there. Everything moved one place value over. Okay, now instead they want me to multiply 1.7 times 100. 100 means 100 times means 2 place values. So they want me to move the 1, which was here, not over just one place value, but they want it moved. It was here. They want it go 1, 2 place values over, which means the 7 has to, which means I need a 0 there. Okay, but instead here they wanted the 1 and 7/10 divided by 100. So if I divide it, it's going to get smaller, and by 10, it's going to move one place value. So the 1 is here. They want it to go one place smaller, which would go there. And here they want it divided by 100, which if it was here, 100 means I need to move it 2 times, and division means 2 times smaller. So move it 1, 2 times here, which means I have to fill in a 0. So this is just kind of playing with it and understanding again that 10 times means one place value move, 100 times means 2 place values moved, and then division means it's going to go to the smaller side, and multiplication means it's going to go to the larger side. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, how is the 6 in the thousandths place different than the 6 in the hundredths place? Okay, so we could write it. I like to write my numbers so I can see them a little bit. So they're talking about the 6 in the thousandths place. So this is the one they want me to talk about. Well, remember it's greater over here and it's less over here. So there they want to know, how is this one different than this one? Well, what do I notice? I notice they're one place value apart. So one place value, we could put a little note, one place value equals 10 times, right? So they're one place value apart, but this is on the less side. So that means this one is less. So we could say the 6 in the thousandths place is 10 times, and that's because it's one place value, less. Period. Okay, let's look at our last one together. Choose the number that has the digit 7 with a value that's 10 times greater than the value of the 7 in the number 24 and 376 thousandths. Okay, so I'm going to write this number so I can play with it. Okay, so what do I notice? Well, this is my greater side and my less side. 10 times greater means they want me to move it one place value. 10 times means one place value, and they want it to be the greater. So if I moved this one place value greater, they want it to go, okay, they want this to be here. So they want me to move it to the tenths place value, which is 1 after the decimal. So where is there a 7 in the tenths place value? that has a 4, that one has a 2, that one has a 7, and that one has a 2. So our answer would be C. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your teacher is going to assign you some more problems to do. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.